You are now listening to the Beats, Brews, and Life podcast.
Beats, Brews, and Life.
Peace, everyone. I go by the name Maurice Daniel. I have my co-host and brother in beer, Bernard, with us.
What's happening?
And today we are kicking it with none other than DJ Greg Nyce.
What's up, man?
What's good, brother? How you been?
Can't complain at all.
Word. I can't complain at all either. I feel, So I guess we should address this. It'll probably be like 2 weeks before people actually see this. But still, I feel, it's necessary to kind of make some remarks about. I mean, we are still going through COVID-19, I suppose. It seems like a lot of people aren't as worried at this point. True. But we gotta definitely give our condolences to George Floyd. And just want to send some good energy in the direction of his family and all the people who are dealing with this hard time right now. So,
indeed,
right.
Indeed.
On that note, I think that maybe we should crack open a beer. How do you feel about cracking open a beer, Mr. Greg Nyce?
I'm with it.
You with it?
I'm with it.
Yeah, man. I feel like it's been an incredibly interesting and trying week. Right?
For sure.
Trying 2020.
It's been a trying 2020. 2020 is just like, man, fuck your ambitions and your dreams. Like 2020 is just
no
dead
ass. Like I posted on Facebook the other day. It's like, man, 2020 is really trying everybody's mental state. So
yeah, for sure.
Y'all stay grounded, and everybody's like, yo, that's crazy. That's the truth.
Hey, for sure.
I think it's a shift. I didn't take it like it was trying in that way.
Yeah,
it make you focus on other stuff.
So like that's one of the beautiful things I feel about this whole entire thing is that like it has kind of like reshifted or kind of like grounded me a bit,
right?
Because like you can't just be on go 1,000% in every single direction.
Exactly.
Now you have to really focus your intention,
exactly,
which is not a bad look.
No,
so
it's progression.
Yes,
I know a lot of people was like, yo, I did a lot of stuff that I would have never got to.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's still progress.
Yeah, I learned some cool things.
Right.
And I like took some time to just be peaceful and I like read and to do nothing, which is hella important. I don't know how people feel about that, but I think it's hella important to do nothing sometimes. To do absolutely nothing. The art of doing nothing.
For sure.
Word. Yeah. But no, what are we about to crack open? What you got there, good sir? What are we
pouring
out?
We are the homies up at 8th State.
Okay.
Greenville, South Carolina. This is a couple things. A sour ale with blueberry, vanilla, marshmallow, and Kool-Aid. And I've had this beer. You can really taste the Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid?
Yes. Kool-Aid.
Bro, that is different.
Wow.
That is different. I'm not mad at it, though. Like, I like the interesting things that are going on with beer these days. And that can is kind of beautiful. That's a large can, man.
It is.
Crowlers, baby. 32 ounces in the can.
Bruh.
Still reserved, don't come in those.
No.
That's
the homie Mike Sick was like Foster's Australia. Yeah, I mean like it looks like that big Foster's can, man.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It got Kool-Aid in it.
Kool-Aid.
Wow.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, nice man. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
We about to get to
it. It looks good. It's got a really beautiful color. I like the way that it looks.
Yeah, you see, when I was rolling the can earlier, trying to mix everything together, because when you got a lot of stuff like that, it just starts settling.
Right.
At the bottom. So definitely want to get that mixed in.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
A little bit of game for the people when you have either or. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can pass that to them.
Man, you can smell like. All right. Let's see what we doing here.
Should be plenty left.
It's plenty left.
Might get some.
Yes, sir. Gentlemen, before we partake in this, can I get a cheers from you?
For sure. Cheers. Wow.
There's a lot. It's tart, but it's like it's a lot going on in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad at it either.
Did you say vanilla in this?
Yeah.
I taste vanilla for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely taste vanilla.
8th State, they are killing it. They're actually fairly. I don't even think they're a year old yet. Actually, randomly, we mentioned Good Word a lot. Those are the homies. Randomly was at Good Word one day in the back in the brewery area, just sampling beers, and they were there brewing a collab beer with them. Nice. And they were like, yeah, man, we brought a bunch of beer down, tasted, tell everybody about us. And
man, that is damn good.
Yeah.
That is damn good. I like that
a lot.
Yeah.
That's good.
You a beer guy? Nice.
A little bit. Like
Little bit?
I dabble.
You dabble?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's kind of hard not to in Atlanta. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like things are shifting in like beer culture, where it's just like, I think it used to be like a majority of people just drink like domestic plain.
Yeah.
I think people have kind of shifted away from that a little bit.
for sure.
It's still. I mean, of course, like domestics are like, I'm still like Bernard and I, like we'll still pound like some nonsense beers on like a super hot day or something, like, you know, or at a concert. Every now and then you want a beer that just tastes like beer, right?
Yeah.
But like this is like kind of the way right now, like
For sure.
Yeah,
I like this. This is really good.
yeah, this is fire.
Glad
Yeah,
I
it's
was
really
able
good.
to bring something there.
I definitely used to go to what's the spot in Atlanta with all of the beers on tap?
Are you talking about
It's on the tip of my tongue. It's on Peachtree Street.
Peachtree.
It's a couple of them, but I definitely used to go to them joints, and I had the little card, which was like university
yeah.
or whatever, and you try to hit all of the taps.
Yeah.
sure.
How long have you been experimenting with beer? Is it fairly new, or
I had
have
a-
you been doing it for a while?
Nah, like 10 years. I had a guy when I first moved here. It was a homie. Shout out to Derek, and he was heavy into this.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he was
nice.
to the point where he was like buying yeast and stuff. He was trying to do.
Oh,
his
he's
thing.
making his own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah, he exposed me to it, and then we would go to like different like greens. I'm over on Camp Creek side, so we would go over there and we find some stuff in there. He put me on like I had like Miles Davis Bitches Brew.
Yeah.
That was
I had
one of my
I had a
favorite.
bottle of that for like
Dogfish Head.
I kept the bottle. I had that for like I don't know, maybe like 6 years. I just
Did we
sitting on it.
crack? We didn't crack that open on the first episode, did we? Was it the
It
second?
was like the first
or
or second episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
See, I had the OG variant,
Yeah.
because the one we cracked was like it was the stout, because they switched it up. It used to be something a little different,
Yeah.
and it was dope. Like both of them was dope.
Yeah.
Nice. I had that. I had a Festive L from Sweetwater, but it was bottle 77, and it was from 2011.
Yeah.
And I opened it up in 2017. But yeah, like I would do it, like get to it sometimes, like Donkey Punch. Like that was my first entry to like craft beer. He gave me like a Donkey Punch, and it was like 17% alcohol. I'm like, yo,
That's
what's a
crazy.
beer? Like, what is this?
That's like, bro.
It makes
That's
no
like
sense. Yeah.
That's not beer, bro.
He was like, yo, it's a beer. I'm like, no, it's not.
That's like liquor. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
a new level. Like yeah.
For sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've always been a fan of the culture for real.
I love
Nice,
it, bro.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like music and beer kind of just they do go hand in hand. So I
Yeah.
feel like, especially if you're creative, I feel like all these creative beers kind of just like for me, it's like aids in the whole process of being a creative. Sometimes, right? Crack open something smooth, listen to something smooth, make something like it's I don't know. It's a beautiful process.
Go
It's a
together.
marriage for me.
I
right?
get it. I could
Yeah.
dig it.
Any free game for this? Like, what would you do with something like this? Would you do anything with a
I
beer
probably
like this?
wouldn't. I probably wouldn't do much to it, because it's a lot. Like
It's probably just something to enjoy.
especially like when you start getting into stuff, adding Kool-Aid to beer and stuff like that. It's not much I would like pair food with
Yeah.
that. Like, I mean, it can be done, but it's not, I guess you would say, logical
Right.
kind of
right.
thing. It's
Okay.
like you see certain things on the internet and stuff, like when people make wings with hot fries,
Yeah.
like crush hot fries and make like fried wings with it. Like, it's dope. It tastes good. It's carnival food though. It's not logical.
Yeah,
so.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it's like kind of novelty a little bit,
Right.
not exactly the everyday.
Right.
Right.
I like it because like the tart hits you on the front, and then everything else hits you on the back. So
Right.
like your last impression of it isn't this tart flavor.
Right. Right.
That hits you first, and
Yeah.
then you start to get Kool-Aid and vanilla and all these other things afterward. So it don't make for like this weird, like Sour Patch mouth.
No.
Right.
No, this is a beautiful first pour. I'm really happy about this, man.
Nice. Glad y'all enjoy it. It's a really good beer. I just can't drink 32 ounces. 30,
No.
You can't walk
By
around the carnival
myself.
with that.
Nah. I get about halfway through and then be like, all right, it's time for something else.
Yeah. It's definitely a shared beer.
Word.
Nice.
All right, so for all of our listeners, you know what we're about to get into next. We're about to get into this 20-minute beat set from homies that we either know, homies that we've met in our travels, or people who have been awesome enough to send music into the show. If you would like to send your music into the show, we do accept submissions. You could do so at beatsbrewsandlife@gmail.com, all one word. Word of advice for people who send beats: please give us your name, give us the name of the beat, give us your social media information. Just give us all the information that we can take in order to make sure that we credit you properly. And y'all keep it locked. This is Beats, Brews, and Life. Peace, everyone. Welcome back to the Beats, Brews, and Life podcast. I am still your host, Maurice Daniel. I still have my brother in beer, Bernard, with us.
That's it.
We are still kicking it with Greg Nyce.
Yep.
How you feel after that first pour, man?
That jump was good.
That was good, yo. That was good.
Shout out to A-State.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I'm really not mad at that, man. Not one bit. But Bernard was telling us a little bit of a story, like during the break. Like you gotta tell people about this, man.
We were talking about different ways of opening beer bottles, size of tables. We got the lighter on the table over here. But I've been seeing videos of people opening Corona bottles by tapping it on the side with a butter knife, like at the neck and kind of in the middle, and just hitting it, and the whole neck of the bottle just come clean off. I'm about to figure out
like
how
a
to
life hack.
Listen, that's a cool party trick,
right.
Like, bro,
what?
you at a party and you do that, like you are the man of the hour.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I want to
So,
be able to do that. So.
I'm probably gonna buy a bottle of Corona today.
Just get a whole 6-pack and keep trying.
Right, just keep trying.
Like, you see those movies where people will have like a knife and they'll like cut off the top of the
cork.
champagne bottle.
Yeah.
That's smooth.
That's
some
smooth,
player,
right?
that's some player stuff right there. I ain't even mad at it.
That's
though.
smooth, right?
Yeah. That's moments.
All right, y'all ready to crack open a second beer?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Don't have a bottle opener, so I had to acquire a lighter.
I don't know what just happened. You can't even do it again, either.
I got you. We'll get into it, man. I'll show you one of these days.
That's how you know when people they really be into that beer.
Yo, they found a way to open it.
Open it.
All right. So what we're pouring up here, I forgot to mention what we're drinking right now. We are drinking one of my favorite beers since I've moved to the South. This has been like anytime I see it anywhere, I always buy it without thinking. It's amazing. I've never get tired of this.
In this one.
I hope it's a lot. So this is from Westbrook Mexican Cake, which is just like a variant of like their anniversary beer. Like it's something that they do every year, right? So they did this for they brewed it for their first anniversary, and I guess people loved it so much that they brew it every year. Every single year. And I've never gotten tired of this beer. I don't ever think that I will.
The Mexican cake, the regular Mexican cake it's still a good beer, but like as far as like chasing this beer down, like when it hit the city, we used to go ham trying to chase this beer down. And then now every year they do the barrel aged versions, and it's usually 5 or 6 versions. It's like $600 to get them all. Like,
$600 to get them all?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Well, it's like 3 something at the brewery, but you know how the beer game is.
So people reselling it like sneakers and all of that.
Yeah,
that's crazy, bro. Like when I heard that, man, like that there's like a resale beer market, like that's nuts, bro. Like that is crazy. I mean,
say something for the homie Mike.
Always. Gentlemen, can I get a cheers?
For sure.
Cheers. Salud.
I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, new batch of cake is good.
Yeah,
listen.
It's, cacao nibs, vanilla beans, cinnamon, habanero peppers, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's dope.
We've done so many free games of Imperial Stouts, like we don't need to do that. But one of my all-time favorites, like I said, I never get tired of this beer. I feel like it's always a good idea, always a good look. I was really trying to be selfish with this beer, but Atlanta was on curfew last night, so I couldn't pick up more beer.
Gotcha.
This was supposed to be like a solo selfish.
I got you.
It's all good though. Like when you share it, like if you're gonna share something like this, at least share it with people who can appreciate it.
Right.
That's it.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Word. So how has everything been during this coronavirus time? Because I know so first of all, for those who don't know Greg Nyce is a lot of things. We're gonna talk about
I am a fan. Like,
word. Word. Appreciate it, brother.
So Greg Nyce is a lot of things in one. We're gonna he wears the hat of music producer, but he also is a DJ. How has coronavirus like drastically affected like your life? You feel like from the DJ standpoint?
I'm gonna say this as sensitively considered as I possibly can. No.
Okay. How so, man? How do you feel like you've been able to overcome like all of this pandemic and all of this drama?
Yo, I think I learned. I didn't learn it, but maybe it was revealed to me. I don't know. Like during the whole pandemic and stuff like that, I actually figured out that like I'm very much an introvert.
Man, so me as well. So being locked in the house is not a bad thing for me. It's beautiful.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like I like to go outside.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to have people interactions.
Right.
To some degree, it's cool. But even in those spaces, like I think I'm more the kind of person that I enjoy being around people, but I don't necessarily have to talk to anyone.
Right.
Yeah. So it's cool. So that's kind of what the pandemic situation has revealed to me. Between that and then just, like I'm always going. So like even in pandemic mode, I'm still thinking about the next play.
Right.
Or how I'm about to set up the next play. So nothing stopped. You know what I mean? It was just like, all right, well, maybe certain residencies that I had or certain calendar dates that I had, of course, they went away.
Right.
But other than that, like, nothing stopped.
It's just like a reshift of focus more so. Sounds like for you.
Yo, like, I just dialed in. I started, like, really, I renovated my basement.
Nice.
And really got that going to make it, like, the sort of studio space that I want it to be.
Nice.
Bought a bunch of cameras. Figured that out like every other DJ in the world. I'm all over OBS. Like, I became a OBS engineer over this whole situation. But like, that's it though.
Yeah, I saw your setup last night. You had things like fading in and out. And I was like, okay, you got the video playing and the angle switching. I'm like, okay, I dig it, man.
And I'm still not like, this is a month of crash course, so it's not like I'm amazing at it. But
like with anything, you give it time, and then you're on to the races.
It get there
for sure.
Yeah. So, I haven't been like tripping out. I ain't been in the house like going crazy and nothing like that. And then two, my day job, like I'm an essential employee, so I've been outside.
So it hasn't been bad at all. Not bad. Well, let me not say not bad at all. It's been, like you said, it's been a shift. It's been more so of a shift.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's beautiful.
Some stuff I think like if you like the common sense approach was wash your hands, wear your mask, stay out of people's face.
Right.
Aside from the frequency of washing my hands, everything else was standard operating.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I had to adjust or pivot too crazy.
Right.
That's the type time I was on anyway.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
I think for creatives and like for producers and for people who are like in the music, like this is not a bad time. Like this is it's a time to go through your catalog. It's a time to sharpen your sword. It's a time to like find out what you have and utilize it better. It's a time to like find other resources that like kind of pertain to what you do. Like all I've done literally is just like learn so much stuff that I didn't really place. Like I felt like I didn't have the time to learn before.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been bad for me. For sure, man.
You know, one of my as far as the pandemic, like one thing that I love and hate at the same time is like social media. Like you jump on social media to figure out what's going on at any given time. Especially like when it's not a pandemic.
Yeah.
You're just on social media, you scrolling, trying to figure out what's going on or whatever. Being that I DJ, the thing that I hate and love is it took a pandemic for people to actually start paying attention to DJs.
That kind of why do you think that is? Why do you think DJs aren't getting the attention as much as say like producers or like MCs? Like why are DJs not getting attention?
I think you have to create like anything else. You create your own, I guess, notoriety or your own space.
Yeah.
And people rock with you because that's the guy, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, honestly, man, I think the perception of a DJ more times than not is it's like you're a human jukebox.
No, absolutely not. Like DJs have like a style and like they can
For
like
sure.
it's almost like the way that I see DJing now. I can't say that I've always seen it like this, but I feel like you are literally like the way that somebody plays an instrument. Like you're literally like playing your crates in a way that like you're conducting an orchestra of a party, right?
Sure. Right.
Like
right.
if that makes any sense.
No, it does. But
yeah.
the only where it breaks down at is see like because of spaces you're in, and even like if we look at craft beer, like you guys are able to look at craft beer and break down the flavor profile of beer.
Yeah.
Or music, you listen to music and you're able to recognize certain drum kits and patterns within the music, right? The everyday person that's walking around, they don't have no clue of any of that stuff. They don't know how to identify the individuality of anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, even when you listen to guys like D Nyce, and shout out to D Nyce for everything that he's done during the pandemic. You know, he's filling up 2 and 3 stadiums, technically of
just
people
on IG.
On IG. Yeah, listen to him DJ.
Yeah.
Nobody's in there listening to it from the standpoint of like, this guy has so many skills, like he's cutting and scratching, and nobody's thinking like that.
No.
You know what I mean? Where to somebody else, that's a part of their individual profile, right? Like I guess like a good way to put it would be like D Nyce is like the domestic beer of DJs.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But then you have like some of the other guys, and hopefully what I aspire to be, we would be more of the craft beer of DJs, right? But at the end of the day, if nobody taught you how to look at it that way or even dial into it that way, I'm just another DJ.
Well, no, it's I think it's a niche appreciation
for
right?
sure.
So I mean, it's the same thing. You know, I feel like for most beat makers, right? Because I'm painfully aware that a lot of people cannot vibe with like my frequency, right? Like a lot of my closest friends and homies from back home, like they don't understand what I'm doing. Like it doesn't make sense to them. Like this is not like they're looking for like something that is like much bigger and much like, you know. So like what I do is very niche, and like I think a lot of what we do is a very niche thing, which I'm not mad at, because the people who appreciate it are coming for that niche thing. Yeah, like I don't grab Budweiser off the shelf because like I want to like be taken on a journey. I want to experience, bro. Right, like you feel me? Like I'm not just trying to drink a beer, right? Same thing with my music, same thing with my DJs, same thing with my artists. Like I want to be, same thing with food.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I want to be taken on a ride. Like I don't want, and I want to be mindless in this. Like that's a so I want to say that I might have heard this from like Knife Wonder. Just like as far as like him saying like people don't know what they want. And like they don't have any idea what they want. So like you have the freedom to like do what you do, and like there are gonna be people who want it. They just don't even know it yet. Right. Like, you feel me? Like Right.
I think and that's 100% true. From if you're on the creative side of that battle, like if you're the artist, if you're the DJ, whatever you are, if you're the creative on that side of the battle, then that's a fact that you have to like make sure that you're ever aware of. Yeah. Because society tells us, for some reason, like a fundamental fact of DJs is you're not going to please everybody.
Nah,
it's a fundamental fact. You just can't, right? You just had like a whole argument or whatever with your girl. You came into the club or whatever the case may be, and somehow all of that energy is projected at me because I'm not playing your song. Yeah, it's like, bro, it's not even about your song. Right, you just had a domestic issue. Yeah, right. Yeah. But so you're not going to please everybody. So going back to what you just said, if we don't stay in touch with that fact, because society has us thinking and feeling that, I could be the biggest or the greatest or the whatever. Yeah. And everybody will, it's no such thing. No. It's no such thing.
You can't. I think so I, like you and I, we feel the same way. Like I think a lot of people want to like emulate what success is, right? Instead of coming to it like with this idea of like I can inject this with like everything that I am, and then like still be successful. I think people want to just copy and paste, and like it doesn't really always work so well that way. At least I don't think. Yeah, I think you got to find your own style.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Sure, man. I look at guys like I, of course, most DJs. I'm not gonna say everyone, but most DJs would likely say that they are a fan of somebody like DJ Jazzy Jeff. Yeah. Right. I look at guys like him, and I'm looking even during pandemic. You know what I mean? I'm looking at like this guy goes live every Saturday. Then he started doing it every Wednesday, and I'm looking at like numbers and all this stuff like that. And the thing that we don't give ourselves the opportunity to realize is you're looking at him, it's like 4,000, 5,000 people watching him, or X amount of people, 1,000 people watching him on Twitch, or whatever the case may be. You looking at that, you like, dang, man, but you fail to realize, like, I'm 33. He's been doing this longer than I've been alive. Yeah. You know what I mean? But because we happen to be kind of in the same space in terms of the craft that we're doing, and I've been doing it for a few years now, you don't even think about time. You just think of the fact that we've been doing the same craft. Yeah. Right. So it's like, yo, why my numbers ain't?
You can't yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yo, so it's crazy because we're so you and I, we know a lot of the same people, obviously. I was talking to my fiance yesterday about this very thing. We were actually watching Jazzy Jeff on Twitch on the TV, right?
For sure, right.
And then like she made reference to like, like the numbers, and like he's up, and I was like, yo, but like DJ Jazzy Jeff has been doing this for
30 some odd
years. Yeah, like that's not a fair comparison.
It's not.
I don't think.
It's not. And then that's a guy who's toured the world several times over. You know what I mean?
And then you gotta imagine like so like something happens when you claim that you have an expertise. Yeah. Or when you put your flag up, right? Yeah. So the moment that I said I was a beer guy, the moment that I made it clear that I was a beer guy, the moment that we started doing this, then I started having just like regular people in my life just bring me random beers, right? So like you gotta imagine like people are aiding in this whole journey that you're on because you put your flag up.
100%.
And when you have a flag as large as Jazzy Jeff's,
It's
like this is a different type of aid coming your
Right.
way. And I'm not saying that
that's
he doesn't
true.
deserve it because he put in the work to get there, right?
Right.
I'm just saying like these different things happen once you put your flag up, right?
That's a fact. When we did the album, Curating Dopeness, right after I put the album out, I went on Instagram. And this is my whole like I'm not a DJ. So I went on Instagram and I changed my profile to producer.
Yeah.
I promise you, that same week, I got somewhere around 20 to 30 inboxes from artists that was like, yo, I'm working on a project. I'd love to get in the lab with you.
Yeah.
It's like you said, you just put your
gotta
flag up.
Right.
there.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm reading messages like, I ain't even like that. Like, it ain't even, you know what I mean? But they saw that and felt like, yo, I want to shoot you my project. Can you listen to it? I'm like,
Yo, we gotta
That
talk
project
about,
is dope too.
yes,
Yo.
Thank
that
you,
project is
Two
crazy.
of the tracks on there is on one of my regular rotations and one of my
Fire.
one of my playlists.
That's what's up.
Yo,
that is so dope. Yeah.
low key, he played something in a like we were in a chat room together. We were on a Zoom meeting together like a while ago, and like people were playing beats, and then like he played a track, and I was like, "What the?" Like nobody heard this track,
Right.
Like, and I'm privileged to be one of the people that heard that track. That track is crazy. We like there's so many questions and there's so many things that we like. I think that this is a really important conversation, like having you on the show in particular, right?
Okay.
Because I think typically, like in the beat community, we tend to lean more towards like if you're a button pusher and you're a producer. If you bang out on them pads, you're a producer. If you're using FL, you're a producer. If you're playing keys, you're a producer. I think like that is such a limited idea for like what a producer does, right? And so like I read the definition of producer. I want to read this. I want to read this for everybody here. So a record producer or a music producer oversees and manages the sound recording and production of a band or performer's music, which may range from recording one song to recording a lengthy concept album. A producer has many varying roles during the recording process. So before we get into you and like you being a producer, where did this whole journey start, bro? Like where did you pick up music from? Like was this in your family? Like how did this happen, yo? Like how did you become Greg Nyce in the first place?
I mean, my parents, of course, listen to music.
Yeah.
My dad's a big jazz guy. My dad is into.
That makes a lot of sense.
He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So, like, when we used to do, like, construction and carpentry and paint and stuff like that around the crib, jazz.
Yeah.
Heavy. But my dad was, like, one of them smooth jazz guys. So, it was, like, Kenny G and Boney James and all of those guys. When I start skate. So when you go into the skating ring, and I don't mean like, and there's no knock, but I don't mean like Cascade per se.
Yeah.
Like where it's just like hip hopped out the whole time.
Right.
Like I'm a part of. I'm not gonna say it's underground, but I'm a part of like a roller skating culture, where being in that culture. It's literally people that travel to parties from one state to the next all year round on the calendar.
Right.
So, what happened was, and I'll try to give you the condensed version of this. What happened was, I started like, right around the time when Facebook hit, me and my sister, we came up with this platform called, we created on Facebook when Facebook first started doing like groups.
Yeah.
And it was called Skatebook.
Okay.
Right. And we had like the logo and branding and all of that. Like, we was ready. And the whole purpose of the group was just to bring people together that like went to skate parties.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, you go to skate parties, group messaging basically. Hop in here and like let us know where you going next, right? And then it started with like maybe 25 people. It's people that she rocked with, a couple people that I knew, or whatever the case may be. Because prior to Skatebook, when you went to skate parties, like if I lived in Jersey, so if I went to a skate party in Virginia, I come outside at the end of the party, all of the flyers is in the window for where the next situation is, right? All right, cool. So we started Skatebook. 25 people quickly, like almost like in less than a year, 25 people went to 4,000.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But it was skaters.
Right.
So they had, you went from catching your flyer in the windshield to now we're digitally uploading flyers.
Yeah.
Because target market is right here.
Right.
So we started doing that. And then as we started doing that, I was coming up with ways to expand the experience, if you will. You go to parties, and parties would be 1 day. Some parties are 2 days. Big parties, what we call national parties, were 3 days long.
Yeah.
So you go to a city, you in the host hotel, there's day parties, and then at night we skated from 12 to 5 in the morning. So because I'm like, yo, I want to increase the experience, and mind you, got to think, it's people coming from all over the world. The way in the music that they skate to in Cali is not the music or the way that they skate in Chicago,
Right.
which is not the music and the way that they skate in New York, which is not the music and the way they skate in Atlanta.
Right.
But we're all here.
Yeah.
So as the DJ, you have to touch everybody. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you have to, everybody have their own style. Everybody got their own bop, everything. So musically, when you're flowing the night, because that's probably the largest lessons I've ever learned in DJing is how to flow music.
Right.
Anybody could play.
What's that mean? Like, define that for people who might not know exactly what you mean.
Okay, so, like if I can show you how to, we could put together a random 10 songs.
Right.
And I can show you from a button pushing standpoint how to play these 10 songs.
Right.
What I can't show you in one sitting, which requires you to have a little bit of an ear, attentiveness, and an overall love for what you're doing, can't teach you how to flow that in a way where even the person who doesn't like these records is like, yo, this nigga's vibing. I can't teach you that. I can't teach you that. So because that's something that I can't, that's one of those things that come from in here.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the skating rink, we have no choice as DJs. You're there for 4 hours, sometimes 5.
Right.
And you have to play from like DC, Maryland. Their tempo of skating.
I know about that.
Their tempo of skating is somewhere around 80 to 90 beats a minute. That's their pocket.
Right.
We're here, right?
Right.
DC, Maryland, back in the day, when they skated, they used to skate to an organ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was somebody in the skate rink playing an organ, and that's how they got down.
Yeah.
So their beats per minute is 80 to 90. That's their pocket. But if I'm playing a skate party, I got to play for DC, Maryland. So I got to be in this 80 to 90 beat range, and I have to give you your whole life. And then I got to touch Philly in the process, who's more 90 to 100.
Yeah.
Hip hop, like we going, right?
Yeah.
But I have to do that in a way where I don't make DC, Maryland feel alienated.
Yeah.
Like, even though we went into like a Philly vibe,
Okay.
DC, Maryland still feel like, yo, we here.
Yeah.
The energy's right.
Right.
And we still able to do what we do. And New York, North Jersey, that's more of, now we're starting to climb into like 105 and going into house music.
Yeah.
Still have to play those records and make DC, Maryland still feel like, yo, we here.
Right.
It's how you flow it.
So going to these skate parties, like you would go to these skate parties and I'm assuming here, but I want some clarity. So like you'd go to these skate parties and obviously you notice something about like these pockets and like these different like these areas.
Yeah.
Is that like what drew you out as like as a DJ?
It opens your musicality.
Yeah.
Completely. Opens up your musicality. And then what we started doing with Skatebook was like, all right, well, there's a lot of people that don't get to make it to these skate parties. Travel, hotels, could be a little expensive.
Yeah.
Cool. What we gonna do is we gonna make an internet radio station, and we're gonna stream the skate party live from the booth,
Right.
over the internet radio. And then that way, we had a chat room open, and people who couldn't make the party, we could just sit in the booth, we'll chop it up with them, and they like, yo, the music crazy, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm finding myself in DJ booths,
Okay.
streaming these parties. So I'm sitting there.
But
and
you're watching the DJ though.
100%.
Okay.
100%. So I'm sitting there watching them, and I'm like, yo, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
So I get the call my mom. I told my mom, like, yo, you know, like, I'm thinking about DJing or whatever. She's like, really? Yada, yada, yada. She asked me about equipment, and I sent her on Amazon this little $100 mixer I was looking at.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, that joint was at my front door.
That's what's up. Yeah.
That's support right there.
That's support right there. That's
I go down in the basement, and like every DJ that I know, to virtual DJs, where we all started on.
Yeah.
And I had like the little, I didn't have no music.
Yeah.
I mean, I had like stuff that I would remember they played in the rank, and I'm ripping stuff off YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was like, trying to learn how to blend two records together. That was the biggest thing. Like, I'm going to blend two records, because in the skate world, again, part of flowing the night is being able to blend songs.
Right.
So I know, of course, I had ambitions and endeavors to, like, I want to be able to scratch and get crazy with it, but ultimately it was about blends. So I'm in the basement. I had a 16 gig, scan disc flash drive.
Yeah, I know exactly what SanDisk.
Yeah, I had one of those, and I had like a bunch of music on there I ripped from YouTube, and I was in the basement, and the first 2 songs I've ever blended in my life that I ran out the basement and was like, yo, I'm a DJ, was Started From the Bottom, Drake, and Click, Big Sean.
Oh, wow, yeah. So
I was like,
it's official.
We did it, bro.
So you, how long have you been DJing?
When those records come, 5-6 years.
That's crazy. For real?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't know that by watching you DJ.
Right.
I would have no idea. That's so crazy to me. Yo. Like, I thought you've been DJing since you was like 12 or something, bro. Like, legit.
Nah. You just found out it's a natural talent.
Okay, cool.
So I started with those 2 records, and then because you're in the skating ring, your musicality gets crazy.
Right.
So that turned into.
I can only imagine, because like I talked to, so I feel like and this is another reason why this conversation is important. I feel like the DJ and producer worlds, like they have found themselves, like, lately, they were here, right? They were like apart, and then like all of a sudden I feel like they're like overlapping, right? They're overlapping, because like a lot of people feel like the best producers also know how to DJ.
Right.
And producers at this point need to know how to DJ, because like as far as exposing yourself and like making what you do widely known as a producer, like, you probably need to pull up and you probably need to play sets and play beats, and like that's like performances for producers have become like a more prominent thing. So like now we have to go perform this music. And you either got a SP and you just going stupid with that, or you're finding a way to make your music blend and like not be so jumpy.
Right.
So DJs are the way, like DJing is the way to not make your music jumpy, right?
Not necessarily, because some DJs have that same approach. Like, like even if I look at somebody like Just Blaze, right?
Yeah.
Just Blaze, when he does his DJ sets,
Yeah.
it's, you don't listen to Just Blaze and be like, oh, he about to get crazy with the blends.
Right.
It's not like, you're not thinking transitions. You're just appreciating the fact that he's lining up his music in a way that's palatable.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where, like, you're not, like, you could go places and, like, say, take a producer, and you could see that producer, and, like you said, he just going sicko on the MPC.
Yeah.
Right? Just going crazy. Where if you're, like, he's the producer's favorite guy.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, yo, you don't even understand the layers, bro. Yeah. Where, like, the average person sitting there is like, yo, he making mad noise. Like, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, and the producer's like, oh, my God.
Right.
Like, we're all losing
going
our mind
crazy
because we know what he's doing. Like, yeah.
So you take, again, the average person, and you put them in the room, and you let them listen to Just Blaze, and then you let them listen to somebody like Jazzy Jeff, and you're like, yo, Just don't know what he's doing. You need to let it go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's just you. They don't know how to appreciate what's actually happening.
Right.
So it's the same way. Like, producers, I think, and I learned that just being at Controllerized. Like,
Right.
I'd sit there and saw jokers just go the ham sandwich on the NPC, and I'd be like, yo, when is he done? But then I've evolved. You know what I mean? I've evolved, and I started to learn to appreciate it. And I'm sitting there like, yo, you don't even understand. Like, you know what? Like,
it's,
you know what I mean?
It's some, you know, like, okay. So one of the most frustrating things for me, and I have this conversation with my fiance a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Because for her, you know, like we'll be listening to a beat, and like I can tell that it's like just a loop, which there's nothing wrong with just looping. Some of the greatest have just been loopers, right? You know, mad lit. It's a ton. Like we can rattle off a lot of names who just like loop, and looping can be a beautiful thing. But like trying to explain to somebody why, this other producer who has all of these micro chops and like this original bass line in it, and like he put a filter on this part of the sample and then it's moving and there's some automation over here. Yeah. And like you can't explain to somebody who just listens to beats that like that loop is better than all of the things that just happened. Right? Yeah. And like for us sometimes it's like, but you don't even know what we just did though. Like we just did so much, right? And like that's why producers go crazy for each other, I feel like.
Right, no, DJing the same way. It's so when you go on record pools and you downloading music, you could download music where like give me a song like let's go with what's the Jacob Meet Me at the London.
Let's go with that. Scott.
Okay, you could download a song and they're called intro outros. Yeah. So when you download, it's like 32 bars or beats of instrumental. Yeah. Before the vocals hit. Right. Or you could just get the song. Right. Where it's like maybe an 8-bar intro, like any typical hip hop record. Right. And then it goes. R&B is an even tighter window, right? Right. Okay. So same thing. I could go anywhere and I could listen to a DJ and then I'll sit there and listen to him play 3 to 4 songs. And I'm like, it's all intro outros. Yeah. Like it's a turn off instantly for me. Right. Because it's like, I could teach you how to do this in 5 minutes. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Where like, there's some nuance and some levels.
When a person gets the record for what it is, like I'm not going to do intro outro. I'm just going to get the record and I'm learning how to drop stuff on the one. And you see how he brought that on the snare, and he blended these 2 songs with this one over here syncopated. Now we're having a whole nother conversation. Yeah. And I'm sitting there listening to it like, he is going crazy right now. Like you don't even understand. Like, and people like, he ain't really doing much. I just want to hear Savage by Meg. I don't really, you know what I mean? And then I'm sitting there looking at them like, I'll never DJ for you, right?
Man, I feel it.
So it's same.
So from DJing, right? How did you transition into this? Like, because first of all, like Bernard said, last album's fantastic.
That joint is rocking.
Right.
Thank you.
That song, so first, I'm improving my life. Is just we're gonna stay there
Handful.
For a second. Please.
Handful is dope.
Like please.
Love as always is my joint on that.
Wow. Okay, that's fire.
Like how do you transition from being a DJ to somebody that wants to be in the studio creating this process, and not only that, like tell everybody like what you do, because like it's not as simple as you just made an album. Like you didn't just make an album, like you were really instrumental in how this album came together. Like I want you to, because people need to know like how wide of a range, like how big of a word producer is, right? Yeah. Like how did you come to be a part of that process?
All right, true story. We dropped the album February 28th. We started working on it. We dropped the album February 28th, 2020. We started working on it in, I want to say September 2019.
Okay.
Go back to September 2018, and it's almost like poetic how this happened. September 2018, American Sushi Studio, they having a block party, and they hit me up because I've been in there a couple times just doing different stuff. I wasn't doing production stuff, but I just knew them. They was the homies. Hit me up. We doing a block party. Love for you to play a set. Cool. Can I bring my podcast? Because at the time I was doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Bring the podcast. Sweet. What's the budget? We don't really have a budget. We just doing this on the muscle. All right, cool. Is there any way that I can negotiate with y'all like a 2-hour block of studio time?
Right.
For sure. You got it. Fantastic. Because in my mind then, just being a DJ, I was like, yo, I want to do an album one day.
Yeah.
Right.
No clue or concept what that means.
Right.
Cool. Hit up everybody. Yo, we going to the studio. Come through. I had like live musicians there at rappers. I had a poet. I had all kinds of stuff. I'm like, yo, we about to do this thing, right?
Yeah.
We get in there and session starts. What we about to do? Looking at me. I'm like, all right, Joe. So I want to put together the album. Go create.
Yeah.
And they all looking at me like, what? Like, what you talking about? So what ended up happening was 2 hours of essentially what turned out to be just like some weird jam session. The drummer dude was like, he gets into like a real nerd conversation about drums with this other guy. They're over there working on like drum rolls and stuff like that. My man is over here, he playing with the saxophone. Shorty over there, she just like, yeah, you know, I just love poetry. And I'm sitting there like, I have no concept of nothing. So I'm sitting there like, this is good. Like, no, we're not doing anything. Right?
Okay.
All right. I spent the next year still wanting to do an album. But I spent the next year gigging, and I started paying attention to, because all at the same time, I'm coming into what my identity as a DJ is going to be.
Right.
I'm really locking in on what my sound is, how I want to sound, the type of music I love playing, and all of this stuff. Because unlike some of my peers in the space, I don't download or keep up with all the latest and greatest music. It's just not what I do. Like, I try to keep, I had a residency, and I was like, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together somewhere around like 400 songs inside a crate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out and play this 400 songs in various variations.
Right.
Almost like a comedian. Like, I'm going to go to these nightclubs and I'm going to just work on these jokes. And then finally, when I got it tight, then I'm going to go shoot the hour special. Right. Same concept. So I would go to the residency. I would play out of this crate. And then when I got it tight, now I'm a gig. Right? All right. In the process of doing that, I figured out my identity.
Right.
I know what I want to sound like. I know what's me. What's my vibe? What's my energy? Now, call homeboy in August 2019. It's like, yo, studio, let's do this. I want to really work on this project. All right, cool. Now I'm starting to get into the A&R part of it. Like, now I'm like, all right, I know what kind of beats I want.
Right.
So now I'm shopping for beats.
Right.
And we like figuring those things out. But I know what I want to sound like.
Right.
I didn't know that in 2018.
Right.
I had no clue. Now I know what I want to sound like. Now I know what I want to hear. And now I know the type of music I want to make in terms of concept. Right. So now I'm able to communicate to them. Not only do I know it, but I know it well enough to where my guy that's on the album, Alfred Nomad, he's in Cali. He lives in California.
I just sent him like 30 beats.
Yeah, he lives in California.
Yeah.
Cooley Savant, King Cooley now, she lives here. So not only do I know what I want and I know conceptually what I want to do well enough, I know it well enough to be able to say, we're going to put this whole album together through a Google Drive. So we're making the album through Google Drive. And I'm like, literally, we got the Google Doc and I'm like, yo, we should do a song that has about their artists. I DJ. We know what it's like to be sent on or to go to an event. And they're like, yeah, you know, you get to the door, like, you know, just tell me your name. You good. You on the list.
Yeah.
And you could bring a +1 with you. So let's do a record where we're talking about that experience of us from the standpoint of being artists and me being a DJ. But your +1 is your +1 in life.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Okay. Yeah.
So in turn, the record +1 comes up. Shout out to Joran Ratchford. Joran is a musical arranger for Rhapsody.
Okay.
And so he works close in a lot of ways with like Guru and Knife.
That's crazy.
Like on her project. And he plays saxophone. He does. So like on the album, it's maybe 3 or 4 of his productions that he actually made himself. So he cooked up the beat for that. And then boom. And then we just got everything in the folder and we just start crushing out concepts and stuff like that. Or like Cooley, she would come and be like, yo, I was thinking about this record and how with black people we don't have to always go in white spaces to look for acceptance. Like we can be accepted in our own spaces. Right. And bring our own sand to the beach. Right. So to speak. Right. In turn, the song turns into seashells. And that's literally how it started happening. Right. So she would cut all her vocals and send them back over through Google. Alfred would do the same thing. Cut all his vocals, send everything in back through Google. And then I would take all of the records. We made that whole album, and collectively, we only had 2 real studio sessions. Right. And even when we had the 2 studio sessions, it was live musician work. Right. Every track on the album has a live instrument on it. Right. So, which all of that came from, that was like myself. Like, that was like, I want to do something that has live instrumentation on it. I want to do something that feels like, you know what I mean? It's not all just digital. Right. So to speak, right. So But you got to remember, in the process of doing all of this, especially when it comes down to the technicalities of sound and being able to like elevate how I listen.
Right.
I know how to listen, especially from the standpoint of being a DJ. I know how to listen.
Right.
But from the standpoint of creating music, it's a different ear.
It's a different thing. Yeah.
So I'm in the middle of like learning that at the same time.
Right.
In real time.
Right.
So I'm learning that, and then I'm going in the studio with Jamie, and we're working on mixing the album down. And the first couple mixing sessions was, I ain't gonna lie, like I was bored to tears.
Yeah.
Cause I don't really know. Like I'm like, he in there with his mixer engineer's ears on. Yeah. And I'm in there like, yo, why do you keep playing the same thing over and over again?
Because you have to.
But right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until like a few sessions later down the line,
and
right?
Like, oh, that sounds great.
I got I got it, right? Yeah, which comes at a cost. So if you're gonna do this, understand that like it, especially on your first time out, you're gonna spend some bread because you don't know what you're listening for. Like you don't know what you're trying to do. Like your ear's not there yet.
Right.
So what I started doing was I started listening to, again, music that was near and dear to me, which in turn was like, I was telling him, like The Roots. I started listening to like Erykah Badu and like Madlib and all of these got Mos Def, Talib. I started listening to these records.
Right.
And by listening to them, it's like, yo, these are some of my like favorite songs or songs that I enjoy most, right? Lo and behold, that's the ear that I started taking to the studio with. Right. So when I would go in the studio and we would work on stuff, and it was like, how this sound, or like, yo, let's take her vocal here. Right. Or can we put this much air in the beat? And, you know, like doing that kind of stuff like that, which was really me just kind of producing what it was that I enjoy. Right. You know what I mean? Right. The cool part about it is I didn't necessarily know that that's what was happening. Right. I just now had a better idea of what I'm listening for and what I want to hear. Right. And that was it.
Nah, I love it, bro. I love it.
It wasn't like I wasn't like the master of like none of that trash.
I mean, like, still, I think that it's something to be said about like this idea because, you know, at the end of the day, like some of the dopest things are collaborative efforts, right? It's a ton of bedroom producers who do everything like themselves, but like it's different when you start like encompassing, like, you know, you might have a guitarist or you might have like somebody add little vocals. Like the collective, I feel like sometimes when it's a collective, like you can like reach something much higher than one person can do all on their own. Absolutely. And I think that that's the importance in like highlighting this conversation because like, you know, me personally, I am a very like sensitive ego bedroom producer, right? Yeah. So it's like this whole thing is contained like just within like my little man cave downstairs, right? Which is a beautiful thing, but it becomes way more beautiful because before I was a producer, I was an MC. That's how I became a producer, right? Gotcha. So I was constantly in the studio with like 10 people at a time, right? Because like I used to have like I had a team of like 7 producers. Like I'm not even lying. Before I ever touched a record, before I ever made a record myself, I had a team of like 7 producers. We're hanging out with engineers. We're hanging out with other artists. We're hanging out with all these different people who have all these different things to contribute. And there's 10 of us in the studio at a time. And like I can tell you, like a lot of times, like a lot of magic happened in those sessions. Right? Like a lot of magic happened because it's just like everybody can contribute in some type of way. And I think it's really important to highlight that idea of like being a producer is not just pushing buttons. It's not. Like, you gotta bring people together. You've got to bring ideas and concepts together, and
when we did, was one song on the album called "If You Want Me To," and I remember vividly sitting in the studio, and because part of like going to that, like hindsight's 2020. So in hindsight, part of being a producer is like you got to know like when to shut up too. Yeah. Right. So like I was sitting in there and we had this "If You Want Me To" record, and my man AJ Alfred Nomad, he was like, we had Yaya come in and she ran vocals for the song. I didn't know Yaya. I didn't know her. I didn't know Will, who did the bass on the record. They just was all people that like AJ and Cooley had called up and was like, yo, we in the studio, come through. Yeah. Next thing I know, this guy's over here plugged up and he running bass. Right. Sounds great. Right. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, yo, what's your purpose? Like, he doing his thing.
Yeah.
But I sat there and I watched that whole record. AJ hit me with, we came up with a concept. I sent him the beat, the raw beat. I sent him the beat. And he was like, yo, and he cut his vocal for it. And he was like, yo, I got an idea for this song. I'm like, okay, whatever you thinking. So he came to town. We went in the studio. It was our first studio session. Yaya came in there. Will was in there. Like all the elements that you hear on the song basically was in there. And I sat behind the board and AJ literally put that whole song together right there in front of me. And I was just sitting there like, this is like, I felt like the perfect spectator. Yeah. Like I was sitting there like, oh, this is mad dope, right? Yeah. And then when Yaya's doing her vocals, they're sitting there, because mind you, I'm learning in real time. Right. So while she's doing her vocals, at certain points where like Cooley was like, yeah, but like we need your vocal to resolve. It doesn't resolve at this. I'm like, what does that mean? Like I'm sitting there, I'm on my phone trying to figure out the definition for some of this stuff, but I'm sitting behind the board, and at the same time they're like, Greg, how do you think this should? I'm like, nigga, do your thing, like y'all killing right now, right? Yeah. But it can't. That's collaboration.
Nah,
like
it's a dope project.
That junk came together like perfectly, and then the record, and then so what happened was that was the first cut of that song. If you want me to,
yeah. And
having experienced that and sat in the studio and seen that, when I was able to go back and listen to the draft of it, and I was like, yo, the song needs something else. It's anticlimactical.
Right.
Now I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Prior to then,
right,
I had no clue.
But now there's like this
because I sat in that experience and I saw like how all of them was working together to put together what they put together. So now I walk back, I'm like, it's anticlimactic. It need like this thing. Not only do I know what it is, but I'm able to send to them songs that's like, we need a moment like this. Right. And then we bring them into the studio and then we made that moment. And then I was able to sit down with Yaya. I'm like, listen, I need you to do this particular thing. Right. And she was like, all right, cool. So she went in there and done it. Artists, more times than not, like artists, and I mean this with all respect, like artists, like you have to kind of tell them what it is that you,
But that is actually like that's the role of a producer, right? I can tell you from my days of like recording, like there are people who were around that was like, wait a minute, like that's really dope, but like try it like this, and like you got like it's a beautiful piece of the whole entire equation.
Yeah, you need that.
All right, so we don't have too many more questions for you. Because I feel like we got through a really good bulk of a lot of things. Just tell the people where you from. I know where you from. Tell the people where you from.
I'm originally born and raised in Philadelphia,
from
West Philly.
West Philly
for sure. We moved
West Philadelphia.
Sorry,
I couldn't help myself.
That playground was around the corner from the crib.
Yeah. Word.
Originally born in Philly, lived there for quite a few years, and then we moved to Jersey. I guess depending on how you want to frame it, my life from a memory standpoint really kicks in Jersey. So
some parts of Jersey are basically Philly.
Yeah. It just depends on who I'm talking to. I ain't gonna lie. I guess it's an ego thing. Like you talk to certain people, like I'm from Philly, but then other people's like, no, I'm Jersey. It just depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in South Jersey. I got some folks out there, so like really like right across the bridge. So like I spent time in Philly too.
Yeah, we did. It's interchangeable. Slang's a little different, but it's all the same. Yeah.
All right. So a couple of important questions that we always ask every guest that comes to the show.
Okay.
If you have a Mount Rushmore of, and we'll give you a little leeway because we know you are a bit of a different type of artist. Okay. So like, if you had to have your Mount Rushmore of producers / DJs, and you can give me like 4 people on that list of producers / DJs, like who is on your Mount Rushmore? Who is the highest of the high?
Wow, the Guru definitely.
I'm not mad.
Yeah. Definitely.
Guru, I saw an interview with Guru for Fuse about his record collection and like how he like catalogs his record collection. Yeah, he has like a clipboard with like sheets and like I'm like, yo, like he's another level of professional.
He an alien.
It's just different.
He's an alien.
He's not just a collector. He's a professional collector.
Yeah, it would have to be Guru for sure. I guess by default, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm saying this only because I now know what I'm listening for.
Yeah.
I would have never said this if you asked me this maybe 2-3 years ago, but now I can honestly say it, and it's an obvious pick. It would have to be Dilla.
Yeah.
I like Bink.
Bink is crazy. Yo.
I like Bink a lot.
Bink is stupid, yo.
I like Bink a lot.
Bink's that guy.
So Bink, Dilla, Guru. Even from a production standpoint, I rock with Jazzy Jeff a lot.
Yeah, yo, Jazzy Jeff has made some pretty incredible albums.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't talk about him enough.
Yeah,
that's kind of problematic. Like, it's kind of problematic.
Yeah, because a lot of that's because that's a part of just DJ.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you only look at him in one dimension or whatever. But definitely Jeff for a lot of his productions, and then my fifth guy, it would probably it would maybe change from time to time, but depending on what I'm listening to, it could easily be Knife or P-Rock. It just depends on.
Yeah. Knife Wonder is one of my heroes. Bro. Yeah. When I first started making beats, I exclusively used Ninth Wonder's drum kit, and I didn't use anything else. There's just so many sounds. I was just like, I don't need anything else. Like, for what? Like, who? Like, is there anybody else's kit that I need to be worried about?
Right.
No, it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions. Tall Black Guy.
Tall Black Guy's crazy.
Yeah. I like Joe Ron Bombay, but only he do a lot of I don't want to call them remixes. I love Stro Elliott.
Stro Elliott's crazy.
Yeah. So that would be probably a couple of my honorable mentions for sure.
But Nard, you got anything to ask before we get into a Greg Nyce set?
Yeah. Where can everybody find you at?
I'm on Instagram. I hate it.
Give us your handles for all your social media and tell the people how they can find your music.
All right. First of all, trustyourdopeness.com.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, DJ Greg _NYCE. Nice. I was trying to be cute. I didn't want to say. Whatever. I'm not from New York. I just DJ Greg _NYCE. I'm on there. I'm not even gonna hold you. I am like probably one of the most inactive people on social media. But when I pull up, I pull up. But yeah, that's it. Like, you catch me there, and definitely trustyourdopeness.com. I don't know how many people really rock with Facebook like that, but
yeah. Facebook is still alive and well. It's still alive and well.
I'm Greg Nyce on there too.
So Greg Nyce everywhere.
Yeah.
Word.
100%.
Word.
Yep.
Well, my brother, it's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
This was dope.
Yeah.
This was a real good episode.
Y'all keep locked in. We're about to get into 20 minutes of Greg Nyce playing some of the joints that he's been a part of, which I think is fantastic. All of you need to hear this. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Keep it locked.
Listen here, family. I ain't got time to be stressing. Every failure ain't nothing but a lesson. While these niggas all second guessing, I'm counting my blessings, salad, and dressing. You know what I'm talking about? So just stop worrying about it. Don't let these niggas get all in your head. Get through that shit, baby.
Get through that shit. Get through that shit. Yeah. Hard times come around, got me stressed out. Feel the heat on my mind like a press out. Oh, you see the black people get depressed now. Speaking from the heart, you ain't gotta guess now. Had a lot of stress, had to get through that shit. Between the rock and hard place, so I threw that bitch. Know the pressure's on, motivate and use that shit. Music you can live through, nigga, that's my niche. Yeah, I make moves, but I dance with it. If you don't see it, then you can't get it. Gotta have a vision, turn fruit into fruition. I'm already super, I don't need a superstition. Nah. I bless these beats. Still pray for you, even though I don't preach. I move my feet so everyone eats. And brush these haters off like I brush my teeth. Speaking of black, I'm bound to get that. But not just a young black nigga trying to rap. On top of get stats, give rap and give back. And let you know if you want it, you can get that. Yeah.
I am the wind, the sun, the breeze, the seas, the trees, the leaves, the beats. You can't hold me. I love the simple things in me that gives the crease, the peace, and things that God showed me. I need the checks, direct deposited, the love, but honestly, they don't own me. I need the seed to love to feel the heat. I need the energy. You can't hold me down. 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 You can't hold me down.
I had to Get it on my own, no lease. What good is money if you don't have peace? I stay hungry, you been looking obese. Looking good on these haters, got them like me chiropractic, ain't no one back this. I got it off hard work and daily practice. Ain't had no tactics. A couple friends cross me, they must be Baptist. Even when I die, bet they bum my track list. I'm on it. My reflection is my only opponent. It's not what you want, but how bad do you want it? Been a struggle, but I make it look good, don't it? Protect your energy from the pretender bees. Only thing worse than a foe is a friend to me. God's been sending me signs in abundance. When him backing me, you can't front this. Come on.
I am the wind, the sun, the breeze, the seas, the trees, the leaves, the beats. You can't hold me. I love the simple things in me, the gifts, the creeds, the peace, and things that God showed me. I need the checks, direct deposited, the love, but honestly, they don't own me. I need the seed to love, to feel the heat. I need the energy. You can't hold me down. 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 You can't hold me down.
Shake him off or let him in. Let him walk up on your couch or let him out. I made a list of places we can play inside the house where there's pineapple rain, sunflowers in, May showers in, Mayflowers in, sun showers in, black power in, white clouds that bring cardinals that sing. Amen, 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 amen. Melodies from heaven rain down on me forever, ever, 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 ever. Melodies from heaven rain down on me forever, ever, 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 ever. Melodies from heaven rain down on me forever, ever, ever, ever.
Very beautiful and uplifting. So I'll be listening to something and I'll like cry and smile at the same time. It's just so beautiful.
You asked me not to call, so I'm off walls, Mike Jack, Molotov. Cocktails, tall sales till my fall wall. Walls with my back towards, back doors, back courts, backboards, John Wall. Cut your losses or cut her loose. Break her neck on a noose, gotta hire you a new masseuse. Jill Scott, Sha Sade, and 9/11 Nurse Badu. Added 2 sassos and she could sue. Play that, made black sugar. Back then, hook up. Batman, look up. Looters in the city and robbing got the hook up. Wonder Woman feeling like fuck your couch, nigga. And if I had 2 cents for the times we lose sense, then I'd lose sense. Added up, there's your $2 for my tab. And in the aftermath, it's the rider out of heaven and insurance for our stuff. Stomp. And all my people say stomp. And all my folks say stomp. And everybody say stomp. And all my people say stomp. And all my folks say stomp. And everybody say stomp. And everybody say stomp. Money right, money right.
If patience is a virtue, then I done mastered that shit. Bending over backwards, so much I'm doing backflips. I just wanna make a living and a couple classics. Some niggas never earn till they turn to ashes. Took a bunch of classes and even earned my bachelor's. Still had a void and ended up unemployed. Wouldn't be the last time I'm dead broke, dead wrong. Looking for them dead presidents to feel my itchy palms. Took some big L's and no one would put me on. But luckily my therapy is spilled into these songs. I honestly do not know where I would be without God who's blessing me and my creativity. Started as a kid writing little poetry. Now I got enough flow I could go and feel the C. Move to the A, never had a plan B. If I do reach my peak, that'll be a sight to see.
Someday I'll be on my own, but that feels okay. Life is conditioning me while I'm in this season where the season's retrograde. And I never feel right, but wait till I get my
money right, money right, right. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Money right, money right, right. La 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 la, la 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 la. Wait till I get my money right, money right, right.
My manager off his garbage, I'm breaking my lease. My brother getting robbed with my neph at the rink. I'm skating on some ice with the skin of my teeth and barely scraping by like the paste in the sink. The savings low, but God saving places for me. I love you, 26, but I gotta grow up. I'm sick of broken promises, ramen and cups. Can't wait for life to move when I'm afraid to get up, but money right, money right, right.
Drowning again, and you came to fire me. My ways, and you put this sun on me. Rep Robin, I'm yours for sure, and you're
You ain't got a front, my nigga, fall back. You hip, I hop, brag, rap in small stacks. Keep mouth straps for you cheesing mall rats. Abbreviated state ass nigga, you all cap. Really unemployed, but you swear that you bossin'. Run rings while you stun a Stone Cold Steve Austin. Couldn't sell ticks if you were hooping for Boston. Couldn't spread what you spit if you were sneezing and coughing. Gazun tight, my raps been bun tight. When you move the crowds, how you know it's done right. So many beats more, this should come with sunlight. Letting God in with nothing but me and one mic. But don't hate it, I'm feeling alleviated. Don't care if you say I made it, I just love it while I make it. If you really want it, God is gonna test your patience. See if you can take it, and then you gotta take it. Still ride the bus, but keep my mind plush. Just that Damon John art made for and by us. Think so far ahead, on time's late to us. Mean flow with a smile that could make your girl blush. What's up?
They clipped my wings, told me flying was dangerous, made me scared of heights, so I avoided high places. Birds fly, people don't. Don't stare straight into the sky, the sun will blind your eyes the way it burnt your skin. Keep your eyes on your work, you don't belong up there. You belong on the earth, they told me. Stories of Icarus and his wax wings, so I would think they clipped mine to protect me, told me. I would fall if I tried to fly. But there was something about the sky, something that called me to its burning in my chest, this longing in the brown of my skin, tingling just beneath the surface, making my hair stand on edge. They told me it was unruly, straightened it so it wouldn't respond to the sun's calling. But sometimes, when I stretched in the morning, I felt my wings itch, like maybe the people could fly once, like maybe my people could fly if they tripped off the edge of a cliff and instinct took over. I hopped a fence, felt like flying, stood on the roof, did a backflip off its edge, felt like flying, like living. I got as close as I could to a ledge once. They stopped me. medicated my, quote, suicidal tendencies, told me wanting to be high was my way of trying to avoid the realities of my life. But the reality is, walking doesn't feel complete to me.
It's all true. If you have to ask who the realest, then it ain't you. Should've been a plumber, all the shit I made it through. I got a couple homies I know could've made it too. I don't act self-righteous, I know I'm the same as you. Pressures of the world have me plotting on suicide. Don't wanna look weak to my girl, so I don't confide. And really let her see all the pain I feel inside. Instead I duck and hide. What kind of man am I? They tell you fake it till you make it. But what's the point of that? You say you changing the game, but where's the coin for that? You talking murder like it's cool, but ain't no coming back. We're already a target for being young and black. I hit up Carl and Greg like get the camera. I got some new heat I wanna drop. And when I hit the stage that night, bet I nail it without the hammer. And that was just a good Thursday up in Atlanta. I wonder what's next for me. If I didn't have it yet, it wasn't best for me. I hear I love you, Jay, cause you tell the best stories. Take me to another place and yet still floor me. But I just wanna fly away. Fly away, fly away.
The mind open, the air broken. Nappy hair condition left the sun sand in the car with broad lotion. The brown token, the black boy joy meets the permit patty at the Cracker Barrel. I be choking, asking why they brought these black folk in. Well, I was in Wakanda counting dollars with my mama when the colonizers brought upon the drama to the jungle. I'm bananas and I'm mannequin. I pull a little Daniel celebrating can decline upon the Titanic. And for ancestors fed into the Atlantic. And all y'all walls building high standards. This is for the hot landings, hot combos from politicians funding hot condos. Keisha Land's bottomless mimosos. Don't seat you at the table, but they want the photos. Wait, I'ma take my pony show to Old Town Road though, and tell them I'm the freshest at the rodeo in all polo. And the white folks love it when they own beach. That's why I brought the sand to my own beach. Pour a little liquor for the homies, the homies, the homies. And that's why I'm selling seashells by the south side till I die. Seashells by the east side till I die. Seashells by the west side till I die. Seashells by the seaside till I die. Selling seashells by the south side till I die. Seashells by the east side till I die. Seashells by the west side till I die. Selling seashells by the seaside till I die.
White approval is a hell of a drug, isn't it? When white people give us awards, we're happy. When they don't, it's because they're racist, and we don't care what they think about us anyway. When a corporation that intentionally poisons people for profit isn't culturally considerate, we're bad. And when they use a black celebrity to sell us that very same poison, we're making progress and getting those coins.
Welcome to the generation. Dream I had a stew session with Mad Lib while Jay Dilla did all my ad-libs. Afterwards I had a long hour conversation with Pop about righteousness and how the violence gotta stop. He said it's sad cause he knew he saw it all coming. You start fighting back when you get tired of running. Just cause you're not a slave don't mean that you're free. And the last thing you're gonna see is equality. Black man's unarmed but will get gunned down. White man grabs gun and gets told calm down. Black man killed in cold blood dead in the street. White killer gets a pit stop for something to eat. White cop kills black man recorded on the phone, but there's not enough evidence and gets to go home. Black people protest and get arrested for the chatter, and you wanna get offended. We said Black Lives Matter.
All lives matter. Black lives are lives. Therefore, Black Lives Matter. Notice that nowhere in this logic is saying that Black Lives Matter.
like to get on these beats and levitate. Every day re-exercise and meditate. Pray to the Lord every second I get a chance. For faith in his plan over visual circumstance. They worry about the devil, I'ma worry about the doubter in me. Dream killer that'll bury you with flowers for free. So the dream of America, but none of it's free. Ain't living yours, you's a coward to me. Get out the pulpit, man, you sounding too preachy. Like to be entertained, but I'd rather you teach me. My head's in the clouds, so good luck trying to reach me. My torch burns hotter than the hell that's beneath me. Illuminati pyramid schemes and dollar signs. All of it's a crock, they just wanna control your mind. Tell me how you feel. So confident I will. Should've been a nephew to Uncle Phil. So how you feel? Bring it back. Ain't coming with a plan, it's a ram, it's a rap. Real with my raps, did that from the go. Give it to my people, then I share it with the globe. Ain't no time to front, bring it back. Stack 100 racks, put my city on the map. Ain't killing them with gas, did that with the flow. The name's AJ, if you didn't know, you know.
Raising walls and fighting doors. Mind is open, mind is sore. Do we need a break or more? Promises are keeping score. Off to sleep but not for sure. Fall in love and sink to floor. You don't wanna hold me unless you hold me here with you. You want one like stuck beside the two. Air pollution's more than we assume. Tensions press with us inside the room. And it's hot in here, emotions nothing new. I'm too pressed to stress impressing you. We get heated up and kiss the fuse. We ignore the flames to fix the fumes. We could dance around it. We could bust a move. We forget the subject. We can't call it truce. And you need intervention. And I need one for you. Like you don't miss a beat. And I end up the bruise. And love is always fuck that man. And love is always fuck that man. And love is always fuck that man. But what is always fuck that man?
I'm improving my life. Yeah. Point two, feeling blessed, man, that's me. Half broke, short, smart, and happy. Still through it all, I'm feeling happy. Live like I just finished from napping. That means, damn, I'm woke. That means I still got hope. Give up, I bet I won't. Smile for my leisure, overachiever. Wife is a keeper, never been a chiefer. Why they only like the Tower of Pisa? Never take a breather from my phone, swiping, swipe like a Visa. Rather make a hit, you can blast to your speaker. Might run a hole through my sneakers. Get your mind wide as receivers. Might need hammer for a feature. Life like chess, I'm doing my best to protect our queens. That's word to Anika. Learn more class and how to get past outside of school than ever did from a teacher. Don't wait up, nigga, get your weight up. Instead of spending, how about you save up? Yeah, you made it, but you made up. Straight up.
We just reaping what you sowing. I just came for what you owe me. Reminiscing on the old me. They just want me, how can know me? I just move with how I'm growing. I remember mama told me. I remember mama told me. On me cannot control.
I'm improving my life. Spiritual, physical, mental, financial. Heard God how to sell on blessings. I'll take a handful. I'm improving my life. Spiritual, physical, mental, financial. I don't hear one word when you try to tell me what I can't do. I'm improving my life.
Beats, brews, and life.